economic problem. They're a national emergency that threatens our security and our very way of life.
The president imposing a 10% tariff on nearly all imports. Roughly 60 countries, including some of America's closest trading partners, will face even higher tariffs. A 34% tariff on all imports from China, a 25% tariff on products from South Korea, and a 20% tariff on goods from the European Union.
You know, you think of European Union, very friendly. They rip us off. It's so sad to see. It's so pathetic. 39%, we're going to charge them 20%, so we're charging them essentially half.
Some of the costs expected to be absorbed by the buyer, meaning prices on clothing, cars, produce, and pharmaceuticals, among other things, are expected to go up.
So I'm going to bring in senior business correspondent Christine Romans now to break down what all this means for American consumers.
Yeah, this is exactly what the president has been promising, an aggressive stance against countries he feels are ripping off the United States. You're talking about a 10% baseline tariff on all imports crossing U.S. borders, crossing ports coming into the United States. That's the baseline. That would start April 5th at 12:01 a.m. And then on top of that, higher tariffs for about 60 countries that he calls the worst offenders. That would bring a tariff rate to 49% to Cambodia, 46% Vietnam. You can see it on your screen there. 20% for the European Union and 10% that baseline tariff for the UK. The president calling these kind reciprocal tariffs because he says that he's just going to charge half of whatever their tariffs and non-tariff barriers are to the U.S. to try to send this message. He says that the United States has been ripped off. He's also declaring a state of emergency here, a national emergency, and saying that he wants to reindustrialize the United States after decades of bad trade deals that have hollowed out, he says, the American factory sector. One senior White House official telling reporters this afternoon, this is not a negotiation. For all those people who are saying, is this just the president negotiating with other countries? This senior official saying it's not a negotiation, it's a national emergency. This will be money coming into American coffers.
All right, the president about to sign an executive order. We assume it's the one covering everything we've talked about here. But let me ask you about these other countries now. Is the U.S. now bracing and expecting retaliation on this trade war?
Some of these countries, like Canada, have promised retaliation. We haven't really heard from Mexico. The EU has promised very specific retaliation. And some of that you can tie it right back to Republican districts, right, where some of these senators will really feel the producers in their states will feel, think bourbon, think pork, think soybeans, think a lot of these things that American farmers really rely on and manufacturers, also motorcycles, blue jeans, lots of different things. Those retaliations are expected to start in the middle of the month. That's what trade wars are, right? Someone puts on a tariff, someone fires back, and then all of a sudden prices are rising for everyone across the supply chain.
Yeah, Christine, these things are easy to get into. Talking about trade wars, they are difficult to get out of.
They really are. And, when we had tariffs on the first Trump administration, it was a low inflation environment, and they were targeted tariffs. There were about a dozen categories. This is widespread across the board, big percentages. It will be disruptive to the global trading system. And in a matter of days, you will have Customs and Border Protection. These customs agents and customs officials will have to start taking in this extra revenue. There are companies who have ordered goods that are on a container in the ocean right now. It will cost more next week when it lands. That can be very disruptive to business. So we'll see how it plays out.
We saw that long list, I believe 6 pages the president held up of what these reciprocal tariffs will look like.
Shalom. First and foremost, we give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in the gospel, bro. Lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just another lesson going back into these tariffs. I actually did a lesson on it yesterday as well. But I wanted to bring out a couple more precepts. And it's pretty straightforward. It says World War Fee 3. Is this dude Trump, man? He's totally fucking up the economy, which is all by design, by the way. Which, we've been saying for some time that Donald Trump, once again, and I'm going to echo the statement, he's going to show his true colors, man. And not only that is because he have executive orders to do so. Okay, you have to understand that it's his job as the president of the United States. He has to take orders from the higher elite, and their orders from the Heavenly Father on the left-hand side is to go ahead and bring destruction upon Babylon, aka America, man. Okay, because the Most High, he's getting ready to take this place out. Okay, for those of you out there that may not quite understand the situation of tariffs and taxes, which gets imputed into the taxpayer or the consumer, which is the people, things are getting ready to get very expensive. As you heard Katie the Edomite say that, look, you have things in shipping containers, and then you're going to have prices and so forth that's going to go up on the cost of goods, man. Necessities, clothes. You know, one thing about you black women, man, and just you Jakes in general, you like to dress. So, you know, your Nike jumpsuits and all this other shit, man. Hey, you ain't gonna be able to get that for half off no more. So you're gonna have to find boosters, or or stealing is gonna come back in a big way. As going back to the pandemic back in 2020, hey, motherfuckers was boosting shit left and right. Okay, motherfuckers was stealing, they was doing snatching grabs, looting grocery stores, jewelry stores, all types of shit. And this is getting ready to come back in in a magnificent way, to the point people ain't gonna give a shit. Okay, Keisha see that new Chanel purse. Hey, you think she's finna pay $2 for that motherfucking purse? Hell no, she's gonna take it. Okay, because see, Jake has been programmed to depend solely upon the system that was destined to fail him anyway. And this is the reason why 2/3 of our people are getting ready to see the judgment, man. All right, and not only them, Esau as well, because they're talking about a housing market crash. You know, which the average home, the average median home, or the average note on a home is damn near $400,000, man. Even though those prices are coming down because you're having a market crash, but people can't afford that shit no more. Okay, a house that was really worth $155,000, $150,000 is going for every bit of $500,000 now, and it's like, how the hell is that even possible? You know, rents are going up. Food is getting ready to go up again. Hell, they're talking about another 40% increase on eggs by the end of the year. So people are just going to be in dire straits, and people, they're just going to start looting and taking shit. You know, when things get scarce, hey, that's when you're going to see the supermarkets or the grocery stores raided. That's when you're going to see people's homes getting broken into. Shit, during the pandemic, this was happening, man. You know, motherfuckers try to break in your crib. It's going to be a crazy time. All right. So even going back here, it mentioned Cambodia, 49%. It's called reciprocal tariffs. 46% in Vietnam, 34% in China, 26% in India, which half your goods come out of China, bro. Okay. All your gym shoes, and every time you buy a pair of Jordans or a pair of Nikes or whatever, and you look on that tag, it's going to either say made in Vietnam, China, or it's going to say made in China or Vietnam. So Nike, they took, I think, like a 12% hit as far as in the stock market. So you think they're going to go down on prices? No, they're going to try to, they're going to go up in prices because Nike ain't trying to take the hit. So it's not looking good for the average American person, average taxpayer. So let's listen to what this lady said again.
Industrialize the United States after decades of bad trade deals that have hollowed out, he says, the American the factory sector. One senior White House official telling reporters this afternoon, this is not a negotiation. For all those people who are saying, is this just the president negotiating with other countries? This senior official saying it's not a negotiation. It's a national emergency. This will be money coming into American coffers.
All right, the president about to sign an executive order. We assume it's the one covering everything we've talked about here. But let me ask you about these other countries now. Is the U.S. now bracing and expecting retaliation on this trade war?
Some of these countries, like Canada, have promised retaliation. We haven't really heard from Mexico. The EU has promised very specific retaliation. And some of that you can tie it right back to Republican districts, right, where some of these senators will really feel their producers in their states will feel, think bourbon, think pork, think soybeans, think a lot of these things that American farmers really rely on, and manufacturers, also motorcycles, blue jeans, lots of different things. Those retaliations are expected to start in the middle of the month. That's what trade wars are, right? Someone puts on a tariff, someone fires back, and then all of a sudden prices are rising for everyone across the supply chain.
Yeah, Chris.
And that's going to hurt the average consumer, man. So we all getting ready to see price hikes, all because they playing games. See, these people that's putting tariffs on these countries, Trump, He ain't hurting for no money. Okay, Trump is a billionaire, and honestly, I think he's worth like 8-9 billion, probably more than that. But that's just what's on paper. But Trump ain't struggling to buy eggs. Okay, Donald Trump ain't struggling to fucking pay rent. All right, he has houses. This nigga has hotels. He has mansions, vehicles. He has he has what do you call collateral. He has assets. He has shit he can put up. But the average person, they ain't got that, man. You live in an apartment, you paying a car note with high ass insurance, interest rates is out the ass, you in credit card debt. And this is why I don't really use credit cards, man. Like, I got one credit card with a certain limit on it, and I may put this a thing or two on there, but I'll pay it off, and watch the credit score grow. But I don't max out my credit cards, man. I think I damn near maxed them out like maybe one time, and that was for something that I needed to do, and I paid that shit off, man, and everything balanced out. But I rarely use a credit card, man, for that very reason alone. But the average American is living on credit card debt, and they continue to extend more lines of credit to these people than knowing that they can't pay. It's fucking slavery, and you people are dumb as hell. Okay, you would get an offer in the mail that says, "Oh well, yeah, we could give you a $20,000 credit limit." But your dumbass ain't looking at the APR rate on it, which is 38%, and you go buy a fucking 2025 and put it on a goddamn credit card and wonder why your ass is $100,000 in debt now. Stupid people, man. All right. But anyway, let's get a couple of precepts. It's not going to be a long lesson. But anyway, this is the book of 2nd Ezra 16, and I'm going to start at verses 20. It says here, "Behold, victuals should be so good cheap upon earth that they should think themselves to be in good case. And even then should evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." So he's promising, well, we're going to curb inflation. We're going to get the price of eggs down and all this other shit to win you people's vote. And he didn't do a damn thing but give billionaires tax breaks and increasing taxes on the poor, as they always do. Because you think that for 1 second, if you think that the rich is going to give the poor a tax break or any breaks in any type of deficit, you're sadly mistaken, because without the poor, the rich cannot exist, man. Okay, well, at least in this society, because in the kingdom of heaven, we all gonna be wealthy. I mean, at least the Israelites. Now, the other nations, when they come up on us, they're gonna be taken care of, but they would never even be in a playing field as an Israelite. But nonetheless, they gonna live. They gonna have their shit. They're gonna be doing fairly well. But in Esau's economy, you gotta have the poor, because without the poor, the rich can't thrive. Because who they gonna oppress and who they gonna tax? Okay, that's why the rich stay rich. They borrow money for the poor through impeding these fraudulent loans upon them, credit-based system. And it's so wicked because credit don't even exist. It's just out of thin air. But yet you put somebody in actual slavery based on something that's not even fucking tangible. Okay, you can't see credit. You can't grab credit. You can't label credit. You can't do anything with it. It just numbers on a computer that somebody conjured up, and they gave you a fake score, and they circumvented your life around this shit and playing with your life based on some falsified shit, man. This is why the scriptures say, woe to you that trust the uncertain riches, man. Because a credit card or a fucking FRN or a greenback is an uncertain rich, bro. Okay, it's just like the fact that you people have been plagued by the banking cartels, and you're too stupid to realize that this is why you're in the predicament you in, man. If you understood how the banking system work, but you don't. Like Maya Bauer, he said, look, give me control of the nation's wealth. I care not who write his laws. I believe that devil said that. One of them Rothschild said it. If it wasn't him, then one of the motherfuckers did. But this is where people are at today. And they're mad as hell. And eventually they're going to get ready to, they're going to send this place to the moon. And it says here, sword, famine, and great confusion, and many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So those of you that got money, those of you that's well off, hey, you still gonna get part of that sword. Okay, you're gonna still get the judgment. Because hey, the people that's not without, they gonna go against the people that's without, and vice versa. And those that have, the have-nots is gonna come for you, man. So it ain't gonna be a good thing to be exceptionally wealthy in that day, man. This is why, hey, you Jakes out there, this is why, hey, like if you buying big purchases and shit like that, like I say, if you doing anything, you buy any electronic Let's say if you buy a big ass TV, yeah, you have it delivered. But personally, you know, like if I do some shit like that, I try to buy it overnight. You know what I'm saying? I try to go pick it up. Like, you know, sometimes Walmart used to be 24 hours, believe it or not. Like they had 24-hour shift, I believe. Now they close roughly at 11 o'clock. But back in the day when I wanted a TV, I'd go to Walmart maybe like 2, 3 o'clock in the fucking morning and buy that shit. And then bring it in the house because, you know, people are watching during the day because ain't nobody really working no more. Or if they are working, they're fucking working from home and looking out the window, watching your ass by that 75-inch TV. And they're like, oh yeah? Coming in with groceries every day. People watching like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pay this motherfucker a visit. I'm trying to tell you, man, it's gonna be a dog-eat-dog world. All right? And it says here, and the dead should be cast out as dung, and there should no man be left to comfort them. For the earth should be wasted, and the city should be casted down. Okay? Yeah, because there's gonna be civil war. All right? And it says here, and there should be no man left to till the earth and to sow it, and the trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? It says, for all places should be desolate of men, because there's going to be a lot of death out here. It says, for of a city there should be 10, and 2 in the field, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of the rocks. As in an orchard of olives, upon every tree there are left 3 or 4 olives. Or as even the vineyard is gathered, there are some clusters of them that diligently seek through the vineyard. Even so in those days there should be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. So people are going to go like they showed you in that game, The Last of Us. That game is a survival game. Basically, you're going through the whole game looking for supplies, evading opposing militias, marauders, and you're invading zombies. So half the time in the game, you pretty much in stealth mode, and you're looking to gather equipment so you can make it to your destination. And that's how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? Staying out the way. And it says, even so, it says, and the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man should travel there through. Right. Because for the simple fact, you're not going to have public works. You're not going to have the state public works and people patching potholes. Nobody's going to come and cut the trees down no more. Nobody's going to fix the roads. Okay, your water department ain't gonna come and pump the sanitation sewers out of there. They're not gonna do none of that. So shit is just gonna bag up. Okay, those pumping stations from the city water departments that cleans your toilets and cleans the sewers and stop the shit from bagging up in your house. They take the water, they recycle it and push it back out into the river while treating it, but they're not gonna treat that water. So eventually it's gonna smell like a sewer in this place. It's gonna be horrible. And we're seeing the collapse of it. We're seeing it. We're seeing the start of it. And these tariffs, hey, this can very well push things over the edge if they don't come to some type of agreement. And even if they do, eventually shit just gonna fall anyway because it's in the scriptures. All right. But it says the virgins shall mourn having no bridegrooms, and the women shall mourn having no husbands, and their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. So you women are getting ready to be the pick of the litter, okay? Because your men are gonna die. Okay, because the men you deal with ain't even real men. These niggas are simps. A lot of them gonna get shipped off to this war. They gonna die in the fucking war. A lot of them gonna get tarred off in FEMA camps, and a lot of them just gonna get unalived in the streets of America, man. You know? And you women, you just gonna be left to be tooken. A lot of you gonna go forth into concentration camps. A lot of you gonna get raped. And a lot of you gonna try to seek the men of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, but we ain't gonna have no open... We ain't, this ain't, look, we ain't got no fucking open door policy for anybody, bro. And I'm just putting that out there right now. If you a woman and you on that left-hand bullshit, they don't even think about coming our way. Keep it pushing. Well, you know what? You can come this way. You come here. Yeah, come. And I'll tell you about yourself. I'll definitely give you a piece of what I'm thinking. You ain't gonna like it. You know, so if you ain't coming correct, don't come at all. You know, find Mr. The niggas you've been wanting to simp for you. Go back to them. Don't come around us. And we talking about you women and you other Israelite camp. Don't fucking come around us, man. Sincerely. And it says here, and in the war should the bridegrooms be destroyed, and the husband should perish of famine, because the average man don't know how to hunt for food. Here you got food that grow right in your backyard, man. Dandelions, you know, you got crabgrass, you got all types of stuff, man. Leaf lettuce. And Jake don't know that because Jake only thing he want to eat is Popeyes and McDonald's, Wendy's. You know? And it says, behold, it says, hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. It says, behold the word of the Lord, and receive it, and believe not the gods of whom Yahweh spake. But behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. As with a woman with child in her ninth month bring forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains can pass her womb, which pains when a child come forth they slack not a moment. Even so should not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world should mourn, and sorrow should come upon it on every side. And this is going to be a global catastrophe, because not only in America are people mourning, you got people mourning in Britain, Germany, France, okay, Malaysia. People are all over the earth. They're tired, and they're rising up against their governments because they're seeing a tyranny. And it says here, and sorrow should come upon it on every side. But, O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils even be as pilgrims upon the earth. So we're going to have to move around. And he that selleth, and this is the point I wanted, let him be he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. So business is not going to profit you in that day. Here you got Jake, oh, I want to provide generational wealth. But yet, the times we're in is very, very uncertain, man. Unless you can just pull a rabbit out of a hat, it's unlikely for you to get generational wealth, especially you being an Israelite, when things are being sewn up. Average person can't even afford to buy groceries every month. So let alone a business, and the fact that they're taxing with these business loans, man, they'll just deny you flat out. Like, I want $100,000 line of credit for business loan. Go to your credit union, your bank, they'll laugh at you like, yeah, right. Who are you again? So it says, and he that occupied merchandise as he that would not profit by it, and he that builded as he that should not dwell therein. You know, all these developments that they're building these new smart cities, you know, these new so-called luxury apartment high rises. Ain't nobody gonna be able to live in that shit. Can't nobody afford it now. How much more then? And he that sowed as he that should not reap. So also he that planted a vineyard as he that should not gather grapes. And they that marry as they that should get no children, and they that marry not as widowers, and therefore they that labor in vain. So it's all vanity. It's all coming to naught. This is why I don't put my heart and my spirit, my blood, sweat, and tears to working for people. Like, I go to work, I do what I got to do, and then I keep it pushing. I don't put my emotions and all this other shit into this system like all these other people are doing, because I know that it's all bullshit at the end of the day. It don't profit me nothing. You know what I'm saying? They're just for daily bread, to get what I want and what I need. And I'm getting the fuck out of there. I'm not going home and taking this shit with me like some people do. Some people pride themselves with the accolades and the kudos they get at work. It helps them sleep at night. Men like us, we don't give a fuck which way. You know, it just sucks. We got to work around a bunch of stupid people, a bunch of docile, brain-dead idiots. But other than that, I don't give a fuck about what their accomplishments are. Just give me my money and get the hell away from me. And that's my mentality, man. Yeah, I'll do what I got to do. I'll do a good job. But other than that, I'm doing what I need to do for me. Fuck you. And this is the spirit that I'll just be in. Like, I don't care. You know? Because it's temporal, man. I saw a video uploaded by Pastor Hara. Says, David and Jonathan were not lovers, you idiots. I think he was getting at them Sarnetta Tazariat. David and Jonathan, when they said they have a fervent love for one another, was talking about a brotherly love, because they were close. Cause they were like brothers, man. He was like David's closest friend at that time. It didn't mean that they was fucking with each other, man. Only a nigga, only a simple-minded imbecile would think that. And this is why you see, and you Israelites, man, like Cesare, y'all entertain that fight. You steady entertaining Sarnetta in the black unconscious community. You niggas are just, the Lord is gonna fuck all y'all up, man. Because ain't no way in hell you still dealing with them dudes, bro. It's like you can't just go out and teach the word of the Heavenly Father, but you gotta put some extra mild sauce on the side, man. How you want your chicken wings dipped up? Lemon pepper eating ass niggas, bro. Just go out and do the work. The hell we still having conversations with these dudes for, bro? They don't amount to nothing. They not gonna get it. They not gonna convert. That's why a lot of you are gonna get destroyed. Revelation 6:5, it says, when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard the voice in the midst of the four beasts, saying, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. See that thou hurt not the oil and the wine. So hyperinflation is going to set in, and that's when shit's really going to kick off. But anyway, I'm going to end it giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you will edify to the next lesson. Shalom.